Welcome to the Rad Conversations podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Rad Conversations. This week we have Trixie joining us all the way from the Philippines, and we dive into a powerful journey of love, loss, and faith. She shares how the pandemic gave her a lifetime of love in just a few short years. And even through unimaginable grief, she chooses to believe that life is always happening for her and not to her. And we also talk about finding meaning in the moments that shape us the most. All that and more coming up on this episode of Rad Conversations. And remember, if you enjoy the show, please like, subscribe, and share. All right, let's dive in. So, Trixie, tell us what the pandemic was like for you and your husband.
It's just that ever since we got together, up until his last day on earth, it was just so full of love. It was like, honestly, it's like a fairy tale that sometimes I feel, Greg, that the pandemic was actually in our favor. Even if, the whole world was, we suffered. But then I looked at it after his death as, oh my God, my creator gave me that, or put me in a pandemic so I could spend 24/7 with him. I was with him every day. 2 years? A year of just pandemic. It's just us newlyweds together. You can't even go out. So I'm like, maybe that's equivalent to being 10 years together as a married couple. So that's how I look at things now. And I mean, up until today, it's the way he communicates with me, the way God allows me to feel him. It helps me to not get insane. Right.
I definitely think COVID had a lot of bad things happen during it, but I think it was a great wake up for a lot of people out there. It was definitely a big wake up for me. I kind of like you, it sounds like I kind of turned off the whole dating thing or seeking a mate for a long time, and then COVID came, and I'm like, what do I have in my life? I have some material stuff, but I don't have a love of my life or anything. And as soon as COVID got over, I really started pursuing love. And I don't think if COVID hadn't happened, I think I would just been stuck in that rut for a long, long time. And I feel like COVID and the universe made my wife and we both were on Match.com. And I didn't see my wife's profile very quickly on there, and I had messaged a lot of different women on there, and and nobody was responding. I was like, this is so weird, because I'd been on Match before, had relatively good luck, and then this time around, nobody would respond to any, and I just felt like the universe, and she was the first one to respond. And then I just felt like the universe is like, okay, enough of this funny business. You guys are going to meet right now. And we live in a relatively small area. And I felt like maybe I know for a fact our lives had crossed at different small events. But we didn't make that connection. And I felt like the universe was like, okay, enough wasted time. You guys are going to get together right now and make it happen. And you felt like the universe was directing you towards your husband during that time too. I mean, it's great that you guys had that much time in the prime of your lives during COVID to just be with each other and not distracted with other things going on during that time.
Well, during that time, that was when I also saw him, I think, at his worst, because, he loves going to his office. He's not like me. Like, I'm a homebody. I can work from home. But during that time, right, there's no such thing as working from home, especially when you're in sales or something like that. So, but then I was so if there's one thing that I'm proud of about myself, Greg, I'm so happy that I just let him, I let him get through that whole process, because I was always telling him, it's just now that you're down, but I believe in you so much that when the right time comes, you'll soar again. So there were times that I felt like, oh my God, he's not getting up again. He's still depressed, and I'm the one, working my ass off right here. I'm like, okay, what time is it? He's just watching a movie again, and I'm like, man, when will this end? At the times of course I had days like that, but then at the end of the day, it's always like, I so believe in him. It doesn't matter if we don't have money today. I mean, if we don't have enough money today, because I know that my husband is so smart that he can really make so much money when he's found his place again. You know what I mean? And I believe in him. So it doesn't matter what's going on with us right now, but that kind of thing. So the thing here, Greg, is that again, because of the pandemic, we're able to, um, once the market opened up, right? Places started to bring in people again with masks on, though. But um, during that time, that's also how we realized that we can all work from home. So, for example, right now, my salespeople, my team, we all work remotely. We don't go to the office anymore. So we're able to save on everything, on time, transportation, on everything, right? So I think if that did not happen, I wouldn't have a business that is as successful as it is now. So again, I look at the pandemic as, of course, bad, but at the same time, it's more of like, it's a gift for us, especially for me. Um, or maybe I was just really wired that way ever since. Maybe I was wired like that because I knew that all these things would happen in my life. And if I don't have that kind of thinking, you probably won't be talking to me right now. I'd probably be crazy out in the mental hospital or something because it's just too much.
Right.
Uh, yeah. So that's yeah. I think that's
When
a
you're
beauty. It's always unexpected. It's
eh,
it.
do you
So
and Trixie, do you believe the universe, everything that's happening to you is happening for your benefit? It's
yes,
just your outlook on life and how you receive. Yeah.
yes, Greg. It is. And I would, I guess the greatest testament to that is, losing my person, losing my husband made me. I mean, it did not change the way I feel about life and the way I believe in God. It's like, again, life is always happening for me, right, and not to me. So I just keep on thinking, okay, I may not understand right now the beauty of losing your only person in in exchange of something so much bigger for you.
Right.
I can't see that yet. And it feels bad to actually acknowledge that, oh yeah, Trixie, you're accepting his death because there's something nicer or bigger that's gonna come your way. It just doesn't feel good to hear, but I am expecting that. I am expecting that something grand, something good, something, w- you know what I mean? Like, God, what else could be? I mean, why? I couldn't see anything nicer happening when you just took him away from me. But honestly, I feel that I believe in that. And I wanna hold on to that.
And did you have that feeling the whole time during that experience, or did it come later on through the after the grief process? And
It's still something that I'm processing right now. Because when he passed away, Greg, it was not, we were all in denial that it's getting worse. So it was so fast. It was less than a year after his diagnosis. It so even during the time that he was about to go away, we still didn't talk about what's our plan for our baby. Because around that time, when he passed away, we had a 7-month-old. So we did not have any conversation about the future of our baby, about the future of his business, or about me going back to the Philippines. Because at that time we were in Germany. There was no conversation at all about that. The conversations were all about, you're gonna get better, right? You're feeling so much, you're just gonna get better. Just all that. So when
can I
he
ask
passed,
you
go
what
ahead, Greg.
can I ask you what he passed away from?
It was a skin cancer. It was so fast. Uh you wouldn't think that it's harmful, right? So it started with something on his leg. We just thought it's a bite of, a mosquito or something. But then it 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 just went crazy after a few months. And he had undergone a number of surgeries, even chemotherapy. But then, yeah, in 10 months, he's out. Um, but then again, I think God has orchestrated it in such a way that he would pass away on the least painful time for me and his parents. Because prior to that, he was already, so he was born and he lived in Germany for what? More than 20 years of his life, and then he just came to the Philippines around 2010, 2012, and he loved it here, so he decided to stay. Then he decided to make his businesses. And then when we got married here, there were also no plans of moving to Germany. But then when the diagnosis came in, his parents were here. Of course, they decided that, healthcare is so much better in Germany than in the Philippines. So they had to leave, right? So his parents first to prepare for him, and then him alone. Because at that time, Greg, I didn't have a visa. I mean, our papers are not yet, we haven't worked on our papers. So I still have a Filipino passport until now. And, he had to leave. And so he left me here. I was what? I was 6 months pregnant. And I was just really praying to God to give me back my passport with my married name, then to make me get the Schengen visa and to make me fly right before I was hitting my 8-month journey, right? And then God gave all of those to me. I was able to go to Germany and unexpectedly give birth there while he was in another hospital having his treatments. That kind of, oh my God, that kind of drama story which really happened. So when I actually, so for quite some time, I was in the hospital for like 4 months, and I was in his house with his parents. And I was very pregnant, and I was like, oh my God, what did I sign up for? Like I didn't know anybody there. I had no family there and no friends except for his parents. So it was really like, God, what are you trying to, what is this? You
Yeah.
know? So it felt like a game, but a painful one. Up until the day that I was about to give birth, and he was still in the hospital. He had a surgery. And I'm like, oh no, my water broke and he's not here. And I just know that he's not going to make it. I mean, he's not going to make it to watch me give birth, right? So I'm like, I was being at peace with myself with the thought of, oh my God, he's not going to hold my hand, and I have to be okay with that. But then when he found out, for some magical way or another, was able to, his hospital sent him to mine, and then he was there for 2 nights. So he was there in the operating room, and then he had to go back again to the hospital after that. So you see, I just knew that God was orchestrating that in the most beautiful way possible, given the circumstances of the human life. So I could only be grateful, right?
Yeah. I mean, anybody could be upset with the scenario you're in right then, but you were just hoping to have your husband in the room with you. That happened. So that's fantastic that the hospitals made that happen to share that experience with him.
Thanks for watching the show today, folks. And if you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and share. And like always, stay rad.